Give a big round of the hand. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round of the hand. Give a big round. Give a big round. Big round. Give a big round. Give a big.
We could have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents' Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents' Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Nah. Welcome to another. Welcome. I'm kind of excited today. It wasn't a crazy day to get into this, and I'm excited. I have an old friend of mine from the comedy world. By the way, thank you for joining us tonight for a very live edition of the Parents' Lounge. We're here every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, StreamYard everywhere. And we have a fantastic show tonight. You know us, Jason Gowan, Justin Ruppel, myself, Jamie Kaler, but we have a very special edition of, I would call it the finance show. Gentlemen, is that probably accurate description?
Well, that's what you've described, yeah.
It's the finance show, because here's the deal with parenting. It's all about how do we portion out the money equally to make sure that our children reach adulthood and survive. And so my oldest friend, I've known this gentleman since I moved here, probably mid-90s. He is the unicorn in the comedy world, where he is an accomplished comic, Comedy Store regular, traveling comedian, but he is also an educated young man who is a CPA, certified public accountant, and he has a fantastic podcast called Money You Should Ask. He's done our show a few other times before, and it's always so interesting on how to work with money and kids. Please welcome Bob Wheeler tonight.
Bob,
wow, thank you. Love it. Right.
It's so funny because I've been begging you to come on the show for a while, and of course you're like, well, actually, it's tax season, Jamie. I'm a little busy these days, or you're off traveling, touring.
Not tax season?
It's been tax season for the last 3 years. And then last Monday, I don't know if you know this, at 1:00 in the afternoon, less than 12 hours before the deadline, they gave California 30 more days.
You sure did.
Why not? Why not?
Well, it's funny because we talk about California. Were other states given leeway for dates, or was just a California?
No, we're the only state that had rain that got all this extra time. Everybody else has rain, blizzards, but California, we had some rain for like 4 weeks.
Is that why they pushed the tax deadline back?
Yeah, we had rain.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not
it would
because
be nice to get my refund one day? I guess one day I'll get my refund when it stops raining. Still waiting on it, by the way. But no biggie. I don't have bills to pay.
A fifth of the state isn't working right now. That would be my reason.
Here's the funny thing: when the state says, "Hey, we need our property taxes from you," they don't go like, "Yeah, take your time on that." They're like, "We'll take that now." But when they have to pay out your tax refund, they go, we might need some more paperwork real quick to see before we slot that out.
We're waiting.
We're all waiting.
Yeah. We always, like, every year they like question how many children we actually have, and I was like, look, I didn't want these extra people here.
I didn't like travel to Southeast Asia and throw a couple in my suitcase and bring them home for tax purposes. Like these, I'm raising these kids.
Well, I don't get that much anymore anyway. So.
Like the egg split, and I had no say in it. And I still contest that the second child that came from that is.
I'm always so curious about taxes, Bob. So I've got a lot of questions.
All right.
For one, Is it true that if you're owed taxes back at the end of the year, that CPAs are like, stupid. That's you giving the money back to, you should have had that the whole time, is what they were saying. That's
it's not that you're stupid. It's just you're stupid. No, it's called money management. Why would you want to have the government holding it for 9 months, especially in California when all the strikes happened? All these people aren't going to see their money until next year. So you want to try to get to break even. Now, I know some people, I've got family members, they need to have that big refund because they can't save on their own. And so
that's me.
That's most of California. And so they're like, I have a savings plan. It's a great strategy. If you can get pretty close, that's to me the best.
Okay. So that's what you would advise too, is just try to hold on to that and actually save.
Yeah.
Well,
but here's
if you have that much money for 9 months, although interest rates, I mean, I don't know what there is much, but it's not like you're going to make too much money, I guess, on it. It just seems like you could blow it.
Buy lots of Disney stock because it's just doing amazing. But here's the.
Wait, are you Jim Cramer? I'm confused. Was that is that a real legit?
No, here's the thing though. What most people don't do is most people don't just do some basic planning. So like if you've got 5 W-2s or 1 W-2 and all you do is sort of project out the year, you'll know if you've got a refund or not. I mean, it's not going to be exact, but a lot of people don't even do that. Most people just wait and see what happened. Surprise, and there would be Jason again. I just recently had some folks, they had like $300,000 or $400,000, didn't pay any taxes. I told them they owed money and they said, we were so sure. We really felt like we were going to get a refund. I was like, maybe don't use your gut as an indication of tax planning.
They call it Peter Panning.
Is that right? I like that. Oh, that's crazy. Haile Selassie. That's so amazing. That's so
just think funny. Happy thoughts. Just think
SAG is still going on. The strike is still going on. Yes, it is.
Well, a lot of times on my calculator, like I'll do numbers, but then there's that one button that just says gut on the side.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll just say the numbers and hit gut, and then it comes up like, you should be fine. That's all it ever says. You should be fine. Yeah. I wouldn't sweat that. It's like the magic 8 ball that you flip over and you go, hey, am I going to owe taxes this year? Probably. Who knows?
Probably. Yeah. Who needs reality?
Now, as a person
this happened recently where I was, because we are like, we do pretty well. I feel like I'm part of the affluent part of this nation. And yet every month I'm like, wow, I don't know where it's going. I don't know. It's this, there's money coming in, but it's going out almost faster. And so I had to go to Costco to buy stuff for my daughter's swim meet. We had to donate stuff. Like, kids are just money sponges. And so I had to go through Costco, and I only was going literally for this donation I had to give to the swim meet. It was the Kirkland coffee cans they asked for or whatever. I had to go buy 2 cases. So I tried to park at Costco. I can't park within miles of the place. Like, it looked like a zombie apocalypse. Like, you couldn't get through aisles. It was just a mayhem. It was like a corn maze that there was no exit. And you couldn't get out. And I'm in there, and it was like Ravagers just going through. And it dawned on me that if I feel like I'm pretty affluent, we're doing well, and I'm having like finance nightmares that people, like normal people, must just be like losing their crap, like who are just sitting on a fixed income, because every month it's like, Apple's like, hey, that was 2 terabytes or $9. Netflix is $14. It's like all of a sudden you just see these weird charges at 3:00 in the morning where they just blast you.
Right.
And you're like, I feel like you can't buy anything anymore. Everything's for rent.
Yeah.
For
sure.
Like your sparkling water, the cooler you have to rent. It's crazy. What were you saying, Justin?
That's like those 6 questions. Is it this? Is it this? Which way?
I know. But I've been so excited about having him on. I was like, because I'm bleeding money.
Let me narrow his down. Is it the big ticket items, Bob, that you're seeing, or do you think it's the little trickling things that Jamie just mentioned? What do you see the most problem being?
Well, I mean, it's definitely both, but I think it's easier to discount the little ones. Oh, it's just $15. It's just $20. It's just $100. It's just $30. It's just, and all of a sudden, you've got $1,000 worth of subscriptions for online stuff. Because I have.
I felt like I was just talking to my. It sounded like my wife for a second. It's just $20, Jamie. It's just $30. It's just 20.
It's just that. Come on.
Whenever she
just
orders,
do it
like
forever for the rest of your life. That's all.
When she orders food for delivery, I literally lose my mind. I absolutely lose I can't even tell you, dude. When I'm like, and I'll make dinner for the kids, and she's like, I didn't feel like chicken parm. I'm just gonna order a sushi roll. And I go, that one roll is like $42 because with delivery charge. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, but it's
I just feel like it. It's not that much. I'm like, ugh.
Now all the younger people. Jason wants to say something, but
so just on the delivery thing, I had something weird happen this week. It's off topic, but I'm going to tell the story while it's there. I called to order a pizza from a local pizza place, and when I called, they said, "What's the address?" And I said it, and there was a lot of commotion and there was a lot of typing, and then he called the manager over to look, and then the guy got back on the phone and he went, "I'm sorry, we no longer deliver to your residence." And they're like, if you'd like to dispute it, you'll have to come in and speak with the manager directly. Thank you. And that was it.
What are you doing to the delivery drivers, Jay?
It's not
What is
me,
happening?
Justin. It's the people that live
Now,
in there.
well, wait a minute. Did you ask your wife?
She also does not know what happened that caused this. So it's one of the three of the people freeloaders that live here.
Yeah.
Narcolepsy. I'm going to create a gut check app and simply says, you simply open it and it says no.
That's awesome.
Checking my gut. No, Daddy. No.
Yeah.
That's funny.
What do you see, Bob, as the number one thing people have a problem with in spending? Is it the stuff like going out to eat or delivery? Is it?
Well, definitely in LA. I've got several clients that say, look, we're really, really busy. So we only eat out 7 days a week, 2 meals a day. But, we have breakfast at home. And when I run their numbers, I'm like, you're spending $80,000, $90,000 in food. And they're like, wow, this is crazy. All of what I was going to say earlier was a lot of our younger staff, they all come in saying how broke they are, but they're all carrying a Starbucks or a coffee bean coffee and a muffin. And we finally said, look, if we promise to buy an espresso machine, all the stupid syrups, you're not allowed to come in here with a cup of coffee. And it took them about 3 weeks before they would agree to it, because they're like, it just tastes better when somebody else makes it.
What?
Well, that's stupid. I mean, look, here's the I had to cut back on the Starbucks, but it was also for a while that was like the only time I got out of my house to go talk to somebody was at wave to my baristas. But you know what I did? I don't know if you guys are like me. I picked the cheapest thing at Starbucks I can possibly order. I just order drip coffee every single time. And they're like, that's
still
not
like $3.75 for a cup of coffee or something, right?
It is. The venti is $2.65. So I was like, all right, so and it hasn't gone up much, but man, the second you start putting crap in there, you're in. Oh, it's going to get you.
$8.
I always make coffee at home. I make French press. Here's the funny thing. My wife makes an espresso. So it's still like $1.50. It's like $1.50 a cup, probably. Those things. No, she always goes. It's at Bloomingdale's or Nordstrom's or wherever it is, and she has to go to the special Nespresso stand at the top level of Bloomingdale's, and then they go, "Hi, may I help you?" And you have a couple sleeves of the Mexico brand, and it's still like $1.50 a cup, probably. Yeah. I did a podcast for Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah, but you're destroying the environment. Look at you, Justin. Come on.
It's aluminum.
She also goes to recycle them, and so she puts them in a bag and puts them under the sink. And so one day I went under the sink, and it was literally like 7 full bags of thousands of. I go, the whole recycling process. You have to return them, right? That you can't just. There's not a magic trap door under the sink that's going to take it to recycle land. Like you've got to. So you know what I do? Boop, right in the old trash can. Right. Listen, I put it in the recycle bin, but it's not.
That's where it's going anyway. Let's not kid ourselves.
So it's the trickle effect. That's the thing. It's the little trickles that it really is the nickel and diming you to death.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's actually, I mean, and I see this so many times. So many of my friends will say, "Yeah, I just spent $5," and I'll say, "Pull up the receipt, let me see it." Oh, it was $8.50. Oh,
That's my
so
wife.
we have this imaginary. I'm just going to round down the number because it feels better.
Yeah.
Sort of to Jamie's talking about always, spend less than you make. It's that same thing. People round down on their expenses and they round up on their income, and man, they always come out negative.
I always feel attacked when Bob is here.
Oh,
I feel seen, Jason. I feel very seen. I mean, like,
Well, anytime
all
I
right.
ever ask, anytime I even ask, I kind of, it's so funny too, because I'm always like, how much was that? And what's the answer, guys? What's always the answer? It was on sale.
It was on
They
sale.
never- there's no
Or
number.
it was- I got such a great deal.
I got a great deal. It was on sale. It was the
Yeah.
last one. That's all I ever
Yeah.
hear. I go,
Couldn't
you're
afford
not
not to get it.
answering. It's such a pivot. It's such a pivot answer of like, yeah. And it's crazy.
Well, see, this seems to be this is another question I had as the only one here who doesn't have the kiddos. I always thought those were little walking tax shelters. Is that not the case?
they're not as much anymore. That changed after
Really?
after the Trump tax change in 2018. You get a couple $1,000 maybe, but again,
Uh-huh.
your income has to be a certain, not too high, not too low. They took away the.
By the way,
dependent-
not to get too political whatsoever, but when one party grants like huge tax cuts and then in the next cycle complains heavily about the deficit, you're like, hey man, pick a lane. What are you doing?
What-
you can't
Exactly.
you can't say, hey, tax cuts for the rich, but why are we running up such heavy bills? It's crazy.
Don't
see, that's
be
what-
mean to the Green Party. Come on.
Those libertarians are holding us back.
Well, see, that was
Oh,
the
dude.
question I had. I was like, wait a second. I thought so. Under a Republican president, they cut out the thing that saves people money on taxes. I thought that
Well,
was the inverse of what.
It helps.
did a
With
few
it
other
helps
things.
take down the deficit because you're raising money through. They said no corporate taxes or billionaire. They said stop taxing billionaires and corporations, and then they go, but the deficit's really high when the Democrats are in power. So the whole thing's like this crazy.
Middle class
What-
wants to pay. Well, there were other
The
things.
middle
like,
class has to pay for everything. Yeah.
They do.
Mm.
There's bigger standard deductions. So now it used to be about 30%. Take the itemized deductions. Now it's about 8%. So there were some other benefits, but the
Mm.
kiddies aren't one of them.
Wow.
When some woman who has 3 kids and is single and is working like 18 shifts a week at McDonald's in Ohio is
Mhm.
paying more taxes than the dude who just bought a $500 million yacht. You're like, maybe
It's
something.
because I'm smart. Right?
It wasn't even him. Bezos is the one who bought the $500 million yacht.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Whatever
I know.
floats your
Honestly,
boat.
we
Yeah.
can't say anything about him though because he controls Google. He'll just go, shut the Parents Lounge.
Shut them down.
Parents Lounge is officially closed. Doink.
Oh,
And
apparently
it just
he
jumps to
turned off
like
my mic for a
page
second.
28, and you're like, wait, does anyone know we're alive?
It's a 404 error. What the hell's that going?
Well, they are. And here's what's crazy. I mean, nowadays, kids are. I just did a bit about school pictures. Like, we're still paying for school pictures. I'm like,
Oh,
the
wow.
photo you're taking for my school pictures isn't as good as the one I can take on my iPhone that has the technology of the, it's a $2,000 camera I'm holding in my hand that takes phenomenal photos. Why am I paying you $80 so I can get the digital downloads of my kids' school photos? Why don't you set up a backdrop, 2 lights? I'll walk into the gym and shoot my own picture and I'll send it to you for the yearbook. Why are we paying money? And then if I want it on a mug, I'll go online and I'll put that picture on a mug. Why am I bleeding everything with kids, dude? Club soccer, club swim, club whatever, any sport, robotics, debate, anything. They're like, well, you got to get a private coach for that because you're not.
Jay,
gonna
what's
keep
up?
I
Our
send the
school
kid to
has a new
mathnasium
cash
because her
grab.
grades are going to slip. Bleeding.
Our
bleeding,
school started a new
milking.
cash grab. Jamie, do you have this where your kids' art projects that they're doing at school get scanned in and sent to you now, and they offer you to make merchandise from them?
Oh my God.
I'm like,
I'll show you the mug. I got a mug with my kids. You don't have one? My kid had I think it was Claire. It's actually a really
Here.
beautiful little sunflower, and it's on a mug. I put it on a
well,
mug. For like, whatever,
if you have
20.
seen my children's art, it's It's not art. It's not something that should have ever seen the light of day ever.
I do listen, but here's the deal: they're taking a cut. Instead, just send me the art, and I'll go. If I want to put on a mug, I'll go get it on a mug through.
But Jamie, you won't do it. You're not going to put your kids' thing on a mug. You're going to find other things to do. They're just helping you. They're helping you
for a fee. Everything's for a fee.
For a fee.
I don't want them scanning that shit in, and I got to look at it. I don't want any of that stuff in this house ever.
Does anybody have any questions?
We got a couple questions here.
Yeah, reach
Jamie.
them out. What do you got?
We had Joseph Borrow said, "What's the best investment plan? An IRA, a Roth, simple, or just a general 401k stock plan?"
Well, if you're looking to build money towards retirement, a Roth IRA is probably going to do the best for you because it's an after-tax investment vehicle. So I put my money in there. Let's say I grow my money from 10,000 to 200,000. That initial 10,000 I paid tax on, but now that 200,000 I can pull it out tax-free. With a traditional
after
IRA,
a certain age or something, Bob, or it's
59
like
and a half. Yeah, 59 and a half. And if it's a traditional IRA, I'm going to get a tax deduction for the 10,000, but I'm going to pay tax on the 200,000. Same thing with the brokerage account. I'm going to pay tax as I go. If I start selling stocks or have dividends, I'm going to be paying tax the whole way along. So if I'm looking for a little bit of long-term safety, Roth IRA is really going to do the best for me. If I've got a business, I might do a SEP IRA. And then when I've got a year that the income is low, I might convert it to a Roth and pay a lower tax rate and then move it over to those tax-free centers.
Interesting.
I put a bunch of money into a Roth IRA. When I took my SAG pension, which I took early, which you can pretty well, they give you a lump sum, and the gag was put it into a Roth IRA, and then you won't be taxed on that if you let it sit. You get penalized if you pull it out early, but if you can wait until 60, then you're gonna it's all tax-free money.
Yeah.
I just gave it to a guy named Ira. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's right.
Same thing.
IRA will help you. He's a good guy. Yeah, it's a 10% penalty on the federal, and then different states have different penalties. Yeah. California is 2.5.
Yeah.
Melody says a single parent gets a head of household deductions. It's higher than the standard deduction. So basically, Jamie, what they're saying is your wife should divorce you. She gets more.
We talked about it.
See, look, if you're going to get divorced, make sure you have at least 2 kids so each person can be head of household. Like, you know what I mean? You don't want to fight over one kid. I'm like, have another baby real quick before you separate. That way, you each get head of household.
Dude, here's what happens. So here's the one good thing about, and I don't know if this is going to work, but when my kids are of college age, I will be old, like retired old,
as opposed
on
to now?
a very limited income. So, well, listen, I'm not joking when I say the math is, what if we did divorce, I got full custody, and then the kids go to college, but my income is declared as Social Security. They would qualify for financial aid way more than with my wife involved. I talked about this, about having my child. What is it when they can have no parents? What's it called again? Gary Coleman did it. So I thought about before college, have my kid get emancipated. So they have no parental control. They have no income. And so, Bob, would that work?
Well, it would work as long as the kids aren't living with you.
Trust me, they're moving out in 6 months. She's going to be 11, and I said, I don't care if you live under a bridge.
We do have some kids where they've put money into like a UTMA, a trust or something like that. And when they get to college or right before they hit college, we have them as independent. They're no longer a dependent, but they've got to meet certain, requirements. But yeah, that is definitely
a tent in the backyard. Would a tent in the backyard?
Probably
what
need
about
what if they pay rent to Jamie?
Well, if they paid rent,
but then he's going to loan them the money for the rent against
because then you're going to have to pick up the rent as income, and now your AGI is going to go up. So that might not quite work. But
oh my God.
Okay, yeah.
But here's the thing: I I had a client. They did all this tax planning. They knew that when their kid got to 18, they were going to be at zero income, and they spent 18 years planning. And they bought this small investment like 15 years prior. Well, that investment turned into like $500,000, and it was for sale the year their kids went to college, and they made so much money they had to pay for their kid.
Oh,
18 years they planned.
Excuse me. All of you saving for college people, my parents were very affluent, and my dad, a voting Republican since 1965, said that's why you take loans. I didn't get a drop for college because he's like, it's healthy to be in debt. That's the American way.
Sure.
Am I the last of the idiots who just took giant loans? I mean, like,
lots of people are taking them, but I don't know if that's the American dream to have lots of debt.
Well, that is the Republican
Well, as long
dream.
as you have,
that is to take debt is ownership. It is an investment in yourself.
So if you own a bunch of buildings in, say, New York City, then yes,
Right.
taking on huge amounts of debt will then make it so you don't owe taxes.
Right.
But
That's
you
good
still
debt.
own a lot of buildings, and
What's
all
the
you do
difference?
is you pay that loan off at a low interest. There's nothing sneaky about it. You're not working with friends at certain banks trying to make sure that it's. But yes, and then you don't pay
There's-
taxes for 10 years.
Head up,
That's how
asshole.
that works.
I like that credit.
Bob, you just said something that I've never. I need explained. What is the difference between good debt and bad debt?
So good debt is just like Jamie was saying, I'm buying some assets, I'm getting a return on my money. And so one, I'm getting to write off the interest, but I'm also acquiring assets that are going to grow. Bad debt is I'm paying for my food, I'm paying credit card debt.
Hookers, blow, trips to Vegas.
And then
That's
again,
How do you-
Sounds
it's
very
all
much like
subjective,
my life.
Jamie.
How
It's
do you
all-
get hookers and blow with debt? I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Dude, you know those cash
Work for a
checking
studio.
places where you can just go in and get your check cashed and give them 45% of your check and just get it immediately, and you can get a loan for 5 days before your check comes in on Friday.
Yeah, that's bad debt.
Great debt.
That's bad. Yeah.
Okay. So
I mean-
so you're saying student loans is not a good debt.
It
No.
depends. Some people would argue, well, I'm going to go to law school and I'm going to do these things. I don't know. I think a lot of people probably take on that debt without really thinking about it. You know, great. I go work for the government for 20 years and I can get it forgiven. Maybe. I think maybe sometimes going to a community college or going to a local school and figuring out what you actually want to do with the degree, because I mean, I've talked to kids that are like the valedictorian of this major school. When do they ever ask you? Never. Nobody cares.
Never.
Like once you get a job, most people aren't going, where'd you go to school? Where'd you go to school? How'd you do?
I used to do a bit about that, about the fact that like in high school, you need A's because you want to get to the next level. But once you're
Right.
at the final level you're going to, unless you're going to med school or going to get a PhD or something, you don't need the A. You know,
Yeah.
you graduate. I don't know if you know this. You graduate with a C. You need an
graduate.
A when you fly Southwest. That's the only time on earth you need an A. You need the
That's
A
exactly right.
when you fly Southwest. Otherwise, you're checking your luggage.
D's
So that's
D's
the
get
only-
degrees, baby.
That's
D's
right.
get degrees.
Well, here was my theory. So I could have worked 20 hours to get the A. I could work 1 hour to get the C, or I could work 0 hours to get the F. You tell me what's the most efficient way to get through college? It's the C. It's the C with the
It's the
1
C.
hour. I got the
Absolutely.
degree. It's all
Yeah,
good.
So I see
I
somebody's
had
asking
no
the
debt. I was
question
a
we talked
ROTC
about
scholarship.
earlier.
I
don't
paid
know
the
if-
Navy instead of
Yeah,
my
yeah.
father. I wanted to go to college on my dad, and he was like, "We don't have any money. What are you, crazy?"
Yeah.
He said, "Join the Navy," and so I joined the Navy, and they paid for college.
Yeah.
Narcolepsy.
Here's
asked
a
the
great
same
question from
I asked
Narcolepsy.
earlier.
Yeah. So this is
Actually-
similar.
Well,
This
hold
is-
on. Can we? I want to see. We need to get some maybe a smart tone to this. Can I hear this question as Jeff Goldblum?
I've always heard that it's best to break even. When it comes to taxes, rather than to shoot for a return. Is that a truth or a mythy myth?
A return.
Return.
And I think they
Right.
mean refund, right? They want a
Refund,
return
right.
on their money. Yeah, of course. And that's what we were talking about earlier. It's, of course, it's nice if I get a refund, but if I can keep most of the money in my pocket instead of waiting for it, just in case there's another catastrophe next week, because it seems like every week there's a new one.
Sure seems that way. Shoot.
Freddie B, one of our pals, Freddie B. So many well-paying jobs don't need a degree.
True.
You can get into IT and get some Windows certs and make $125,000 a year. Yeah, we've talked about that so many times on the show about the fact that you know who's going to rule the world? Plumbers. Plumbers are the only job that's AI cannot take. Those are the people who call and they go, it's going to be $5,000. You never go like, can we get a second opinion? You're like, yeah, I guess, whatever. Like no one ever says, no, let me call a second plumber. They go, here's the money.
So in Australia, they got rid of all of anybody that wasn't a citizen a few years ago. And so now, because they were like, they're taking all the jobs. So everybody's got their degrees. You can't get a handyman to come to your house for less than $150 an hour. Yeah. And some of these guys are making $200-$300 an hour with their trade because nobody's got the skill set.
Nobody.
And they're like, we didn't want to bring anybody, don't want to bring those other people in. And so now they're sitting there and literally people can't get people to come in and help them. Because
Interestingly enough, that used to be, just like you said, is plumber may be the last one though, because they used to say, you should be a car mechanic. All the cars I know nowadays, they void the warranty if you open up, and all of the stuff is plastic and covered in new cars. I mean, with all the Elon Musk wants to make sure you never touch an engine again, and that all of those people are out of a job for the rest of their lives because you don't touch it. There is no engineering there. It's
it's
nobody
with Apple.
It's
Like
all
you can't open an Apple computer anymore, right?
Right. Yeah,
you can't get into the board. Like people used to build boards. They're like, yeah, we don't want you in the board, brother. You can stay out of the board.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Buy a new one every 2 years and we'll be fine.
It's all the things that I thought were protected against AI, were something like, hey, be an auto mechanic. Wrong. No, that's a job that's going by the wayside. Yeah. I mean, in the next 10 years, there will not be a car you could possibly crack open and fix.
Install carpet. Put windows in, something that nothing like the AI can't, it's all going to be all these physical jobs that are going to be
tires. Until they get better with their thumbs, it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, that is, so let me ask this as a reverse question, Bob, since you see all the, money can't buy happiness, right? They say, but
total bullshit, by the way.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Jamie. I don't agree whatsoever.
I'm trying to figure out, since you see everybody coming in, do you, as a proprietor and organizer of money, do you see that your more affluent clients are happier and less stressed, or are they more stressed than your middle or lower class clients?
Well, I would say my clients that have more passive income are less stressed than people that are trying to make active income from their businesses and their sales, and they can't ever stop.
Got you. So passive income makes you a little bit less stressed, is what you're saying.
Some of it does, because you're letting other people do it, or it's making money while you sleep. So you just wake up, cool, I got more money in the bank.
Dude, every time I open a residual check, I don't care if it's $2. I go, $2 I didn't have 10 minutes ago.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes when it's a big one, you're like, hey, guess who made $1,500 today for fucking getting up and eating breakfast? Daddy did. You're like, yeah.
Going to Costco.
Mom, I never thought about that.
I'll have 2 sushi rolls. I'll have 2 sushi rolls delivered to the house.
Passive income is the key to happiness. I couldn't agree more. I never thought about that, but it's absolutely true.
And it also depends, though. Like, I wanted to have real estate and be a real estate mogul. I'm taking over the world. And I had a property with a friend, and it was supposed to be an up and coming area, up and went, because there were gangs in there. A gang member took over one of the empty units. And I was trying to figure out how I could get attack dogs to kill the gang member. And I thought, I need to get out of this business. I'm trying to kill people. I am so stressed. And I don't ever want to own too much real estate unless somebody else is managing it, because I went psycho.
Oh, I've had friends who owned, and we've talked about it. My wife and I have talked many times about trying to get in, another house, a Big Bear or whatever, and then rent it out. And we've heard just horror stories. There was just one where the woman was like, she moved into the Airbnb and never moved out.
Right.
Changed the locks, was like, and then I don't know where the renters rules. And this is when I go crazy, right? I'm Johnny Fox News, where I'm like, yeah, why isn't that person taken out with a sledgehammer out of there? Why? And they're like, no, renters' rights, man. They have
that's
full
California.
rights to. It's California.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
We
can't
are
turn
a
off their
little
water.
lax.
You can't turn off the utilities.
Nope.
You can't change the locks.
You can't gas them out.
Let me ask,
I would burn the house down.
what was the what is the actual, where did that come from in thinking that they were trying to protect? Didn't they foresee that squatters would just take crap over? Did they not foresee that, or
But
was
there's
there
also
a
slumlords. They were trying to protect people from slumlords, I think.
Yeah,
at some point.
and
you know,
they
and there
had
was
rent control. People would do these things and just throw you out of your house.
And the
Rent
landlords
control-
would try
rent
to get the
control.
rent control guy out, because all of a sudden that apartment in Santa Monica that I rented for 10 years for $700 a block off the beach, 1 bedroom, was worth $8,000 a month.
Yeah,
And
right.
they would, the landlords would do anything to get to people out. So they enacted laws to try to protect those people. But unfortunately, there's all kinds of different variables happening. And then some idiot takes advantage of that rule and wrecks it for everybody. And you're like, like, at the end of the day, humans are kind of awful. They really are.
I love our comment chain right now. Just check the app. No. It just says highly salacious.
Wait. Read through them, would you, Justin? Read through those, will you?
Just as long as it's a replacement. No! I need to go back in time and star in My Boys.
Active. No, check the app. We used to
And
be
I checked
called
the app.
serfs. That's. By the way,
I never voted for
I
you.
don't know who Haile Selassie is. I love that name, but this is a new person in our feed who's been very, very funny and
Very
active.
funny.
It's
Almost like only funny people watch.
She's very up there. She's with Narcolepsy and Jobo, holding down the sniper role of our show. By the way, for those of you who are listening to this on iTunes, we are live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, everywhere. And people comment along and ask questions and say stuff. So we appreciate you listening to it. And please follow, subscribe, like. But if you get a chance, come watch live. It's pretty fun. All right. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Oh,
God. All right. So now, let me ask this too. I know we pay a higher tax here in California, like we pay the state tax here.
Yeah.
This is just a personal question. Every time I go to look to some other state, and no offense to the other states, I go, I have perfect weather here. I think that's pretty much why I'm paying the taxes I am.
It's the weather tax. It's the weather tax.
The weather
It is the
tax.
weather tax.
It's the weather tax.
Like I'm checking in with everybody else, and they're like, I'm preparing for winter, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have to. That's the thing that no one talks about. Like every winter in Minnesota, and North Dakota and Michigan, you have to winterize your house and do the salt on the streets and change the tires, and I'm like, yeah, that's 10%. That's the income that I pay in extra taxes to just go outside and golf every day of the damn year.
Yeah.
I mean,
but if you're living in those other places, even the rent is more often than not a lot less than it is in California, where you're paying $4,000 for a studio apartment.
Oh,
please,
yes.
listen, can we,
Yeah.
please, we need, so Jobo has written a wonderful comment. Maybe Alan, I feel like this one needs Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman.
Listen, strange women lying in ponds, distributing swords are no basis for a system of government. This is from Monty Python and Holy Grail.
I know. I was like, it's got to be somebody British.
Power derives from a mandate from the masses, not some farcical aquatic ceremony.
Is it the Holy Grail? I feel like it's the Holy Grail.
It is. It is. I didn't vote for you. I don't remember.
It's a strange women lying in ponds, distributing swords. There's no basis for a system of government.
Some watery tot.
You watery tart. And then they go, burner. Burn the witch.
What else floats? Small pebbles.
Small little pebbles. Wood. And the one dude is there.
Wood.
Is it?
Yes.
He goes.
So if she
Wood.
weighs as much as a duck, burn her.
Then what else burns? Wood. I haven't watched that movie in so long, and it makes me laugh so hard. Oh my god!
He says he's already got one. He's very nice.
Very nice. We still, with my daughters, so my daughters will be out in the yard or something, and they'll go, "Look, ooh, a spider!" And all I do is go, "Run away! Run away!
Run away! 3 shall be the number of counting, and the number of the counting shall be 3. 4 is too much and shall not be counted. 5 is right out."
You know, you have genius comedy when you make a show in like the 70s, and it's timeless. It is so timeless. Oh my gosh, that's so
that
funny.
that movie.
That quote, Joe. Who was it? Narcolepsy who put that quote up?
No, it's Jobo.
Yes.
Oh, it's Jobo. It's Jobo. It's only a flesh wound. No, it's not.
She's a
You're
flesh-
missing your arm.
Come over here.
enough.
All right, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Monty
that went sideways, but
we went on a tangent. But that's the beauty of the show. It's parental mental health, and I don't care if it makes me laugh and I'm going down that road.
What is something I could do right away that would make me feel better about money? Like something, a habit that you, besides passive income, Bob, like something that would make me feel better about it. You know?
Well, I think one thing that a lot of people don't do that you could do right now is set up either a brokerage account, Fidelity, whatever. Set up a savings account. Just start putting $5 a week.
Really?
And just start saving, because a lot of people just don't create that habit. They're like, "Oh, I don't have time, and it's only $5." You just start putting away $5, and all of a sudden,
What if I created an app that just
takes $5?
Yeah.
Maybe
That's good.
Yeah,
But the monthly charge for that app is $24.
No. A lot of them are
And you're
free.
like, wait, am I putting $20 in and I'm losing? Yes, you're losing $4 a month on this.
So then never touch that then, right?
And just start putting it away. Just start putting it away. And then you'll start to see, oh man, I've got $50, which again, not much, but it's something. It's easier to then say, you know what, let me do 10, let me do 20. The other thing that's real easy to do that a lot of us don't do, look at your telephone bill and look at your credit card bill and actually look what's on there. Most of us don't, because it's digitalized, or we just, whatever.
Oh,
I was paying for a free iPad for a year. It was free. And of course I took the lady at her word, and I'm looking at this going, wait a minute, I'm paying for an iPad that was free? Are you freaking kidding me? At double the price?
Yeah. I just realized I have 5 phone lines and I only have 4 family members. I was like, what the?
I was talking to a friend today, and I said that you were on the show and we were talking about finances, and he said, "You're not going to believe what I did." He got, I think it was called Rocket or something, and what it does is it shows you your monthly expenses or whatever. Does Rocket charge you a monthly fee to? Probably.
Rocket List, I think it was. That was it. Yeah.
Whatever he did, he went on Rocket, and he didn't realize it, but he had donated to a cancer charity, and it was a monthly fee. He got he thought it was a one-time donation.
Stop, Jamie.
He donated
that's
to a
right.
cancer
That's
charity, like an annual thing, and then all of a sudden he realized he had been paying $25 a month for like 3 years to this cancer.
He's a giver.
Wait a second. So you're telling me quietly, without him knowing, something was hurting him over time, and then he, when he went in and did an assessment, it turns out he was like, it's stage 4. Like money loss.
He had stage 4 financial cancer.
It's cancerous.
The cancer had eaten away so badly at his finances that it was incurable at that point. And we tried to cut it out, but I don't think they got the margins weren't right. They didn't get all the margins out, and so he didn't make it. He didn't survive it. But I feel like so here's a crazy rando story that happened the same way. So I'm casting, I think it's Casting Network. I had joined.
Don't get me
right.
started.
So it was an annual. So I paid for an annual subscription, $125 for the year or whatever. And I did it for my daughters because my wife was like, they're going to be, I go, they're not going to act, whatever. So I did it. And so all of a sudden, without telling me, it jumped. I looked at my Amex bill and I had a charge, and it hadn't even like re-upped me annually. After the annual subscription ended, it jumped to monthly. So all of a sudden, I saw 3 charges for $27 a month from the casting network.
Mm-hmm.
And I unloaded these people. I sent emails. Long story short, I could read. Maybe I should read the email. Should I read the email? So you're
saying that? So the casting did something against without your consent? That sounds nothing like the casting network would do.
Yeah.
Casting it.
Here's what I wrote. Here's my info. So I had, and so I tried to call them, and they say, here's the other thing. You call them to go like, hey man, I think you made a mistake. If you wanted me to, all you had to do was send me an email a week before. I probably would have re-upped for the annual subscription. But when all of a sudden you, without any warning, gouge me and take me from an annual subscription of $125 to then charge me $26 a month, which is basically like $300 a year over 12 months, without any warning, I unleashed. And I wrote an email, and I had to send 3 different emails because nobody answered my phone. I said I had an annual subscription, and then you just automatically start a monthly subscription, many exclamation points. Got 3 bills from me and my 2 kids today. Wow. Shame on you. I tried to call to talk to a human to resolve this issue, but of course no one answers, and it tells me to email. Great business practice. You also have my 2 daughters on here. I want all 3 of our memberships canceled.
Listen,
I said,
I want all of my daughters canceled.
I thought I did. I wish I'd have done it as him. I said, you better cancel those 3 charges. And you know what they did? They canceled all those charges. I got all the refund back on my credit card. And eventually, when the strike's over, I'm going to have to rejoin Casting Network myself, which I would have done anyway, had you just been upfront about your fucking business practice, dude, as opposed to being like that sneaky guy is like, look, 75% of the humans on earth are going to catch me at this, but the other 25 are going to let it go for like 7 or 8 years because nobody checks their bills, and we're going to make millions. I'm so over.
But that's why it's a great business practice.
It's a great.
Yep.
It's not doesn't have any integrity.
There's no
What's
integrity, and there's no integrity.
Whose side are you on here, Bob?
Yeah, I'm just saying,
he's
from
on
a
the side of money,
model,
and that's
it's a
why
good
he's
model.
the CPA.
But it has no integrity. It's crap. But so many people don't check.
Thank you, Brandon, for loving my shirt. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it. I got this because I did a commercial for Mario once. So there you go. That's anybody who pays me.
I see this.
My wife used to sign up for those all the time. She goes, "No, I got the first 3 months free," and I go, "You're telling me in 3 months you're going to remember to cancel that subscription?"
That's the thing. You don't remember the. I don't like doing.
I signed up for the LA Times newspaper for $1 for a year, and I have on my calendar. I have the date that I need to go. It's on my to-do.
You are petty. That's good. I like it.
It'll jump. It won't be $1 a year. It'll be. They said the first year's $1. But at that next date, it just jumps automatically.
Just jumps up.
So like $22 a month for whatever. And I haven't even read the thing. I might cancel it. I thought I was going to, but I haven't read the thing.
See, Carl Nelson's right. Take a few minutes. Take your credit card. Check your credit cards. Thank you.
I would say that's huge. Number one, check your credit card.
It is. It's huge.
Especially if you're married to a woman who likes nice things. That's what I'm just going to say that.
Let me ask another question, Bob, because I'm always interested, because I want to feel better about myself. I've made some financial mistakes in my life.
Justin, you're enough. You're enough.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe I don't even ask. No, here's what I was going to ask. So you've had a lot of people come to you, do their taxes each year, and you were a regular at the Comedy Store.
Yes.
Is it us, the comedians, who are the worst with their taxes? Are we the worst? Because I'm sure you do a lot of okay,
pretty bad. But you know what? It's across the board. People get overwhelmed. People don't want to deal with reality. People come in and go, "Here's 2 years worth of bank statements. Figure it out, and then don't make any mistakes." But I'm not going to tell you what any of it is. Good luck. Thanks. Can you do it tomorrow? Yeah. So it's not just comics. We're actually this week we're going to review all of our clients, and we're going to dump 20 clients. The 80-20
I'm
rule.
gone, aren't I? I'm probably gone.
80-20 rule. 80% of your time is spent on 20% of the people that don't give you
right.
any return, and probably 20% in a lot of companies, you're getting 80% of your revenue or mental health calmness from the clients that you can appreciate. So a lot of times people will just keep a client that's not serving them or keep doing something. It's not really the best because I don't want to be a bad guy. Instead of saying, you know what, bye.
What is the worst tax situation you had ever seen? What is the one that came in? Because I asked my tax accountant because I had made some mistakes in the past, and they had told me a story of like, oh my God, what is the worst one you ever saw come in? Can you even, like, don't mention who it is, obviously, but I mean, like, Jason. But besides that, who is it? Who is it? Like, what was the worst situation you'd ever seen somebody come in? And you're like, oh, you're screwed. Do you know what that is offhand?
Oh, you know what? I think one of the worst ones that happened to a poor guy that didn't even realize what happened to him. He had said to his financial advisor, I want my sister to have access to my retirement account. What he meant was when I die. And so the guy was like, oh, okay, well, let me close it out and I'll put you into a regular brokerage. And he had about $500,000 in there, and he had to pay tax, penalty, and interest. And I'm like, dude, you owe the money. And then the advisor called me up and says, dude, you got me fired. I'm like, because you're an idiot. Why would you have not have asked for clarification? And so I see that's a situation where it's not really the taxpayer's fault because somebody else that was supposed to be helping them. But I've also had a few people come in and not mention, oh, I had a $400,000 capital gain. Is that relevant? And they don't tell me. And then the government finds it. And then they get a tax bill for a large amount of money. And they're like, what's this? Yes.
Well, I also think, Bob, a lot of people who are in your business are maybe not as ethical and up to speed on you. And, they're full of it. And so they're always like, no, don't worry. I'll take care of it. I'll make you money. But they're going through the same travails I'm going through on a daily basis, trying to get to work to then take care of my finances. And they're just like, yeah, it's, the same way I kind of deal with my jobs of like, let me just get this crap over with. They're dealing with my finances and whoever's finances. So it's like you're trusting it to another human who still is flawed at,
and unfortunately, the financial planning industry is not well regulated. It's self-regulated, right? So there's amazing people and not so great, like in any industry. But you just got to be really careful. Check your gut. That was a callback for nobody.
I said I did. I did. And I looked. It said. I checked.
I checked my calculator. Gut. Check your gut.
It said no.
Gut. Exactly. No. Like Melody is saying, like, how do you tell your clients to stop spending on their wants and only on their needs? It's not. What I ask people is, like, is this giving you value in the long run? Like, what's like when I'm buying something, when I'm spending on something, is like, this sounds sort of crazy, but is it serving me? Like, yeah, in this moment I got instant gratification and I feel good about it. Or no, I really want to buy a house and this is sabotaging my efforts. And so to me, it's about getting clear about what do I want? And it's okay to have something for instant gratification now, as long as I own it, instead of saying, I can't believe that happened to me. I mean, it was fun, but like, how I didn't know. So getting really intentional about how you're spending the money, and is it giving me something in this moment? Or is it something that, I'm trying to save for a house. I'm trying to save for college.
Okay. This is where I'm stupid with money, but I also think I'm kind of smart. Is that I have a lot of friends who saved a lot of money, and now they're in their twilight years, and they're like, I got all this money, but their knees and back can't support the hiking trips. Their health can't support the type of drinking or fun that they want to do, and so they're sitting on a pile of money.
Yeah,
and then they're like, they saved so much for the rainy day, and now they're like, but in my twilight years, I don't actually need as much money as you do when you have the time to go do stuff.
Yeah,
like,
So it's and I'm not saying it's a balance 50-50.
Kids just take the money at that point.
Kids take the money.
See? The money.
Just have kids.
That's my joke. I was in a rent-controlled apartment with a bank full of money, eating out every night, and I thought, how can I put a stop to this? And I started having kids at 50. And that's
Yeah.
where and
then they
you
took
bled
it.
into it. Yeah.
Look, I think it's important to save, but I don't think I don't think you want to go crazy. An extreme saver is not enjoying life because they're so busy they're going to lose everything, right? It's
Thank you.
money is circular,
Right.
and so you got to let it go out and let it come back in. So
Yeah.
I've got a client, 85 years old, lost his wife, he's got a couple $1 million in the bank. He's sure he's going to go bankrupt in the next week. Won't spend the money to do some house improvements because I might need that $2 million that's been sitting in his bank account for the last 5 years. And I was trying to say, like, if you don't take a vacation to Vegas or if you don't remodel your house, I'm going to stop doing your taxes. He's still like, oh,
Good for you.
Does he need
Any chance he wants to adopt
He
some
needs-
does he need any
grandchildren?
dependents? You want to get adopted,
Is
Jason?
he looking for some children to spend a weekend with him or something? Like,
A sugar
I
granddaddy?
actually, you know how they used to have like adopt a dad or whatever? I was thinking about having an adopt a grandparent program where people who have no grandkids or something would want to have kids and then leave all their money to
You're not
them.
feeling
Is
loved
that
at home?
No, it's about the money. Yeah. It's funny too
Well,
because every time I spend money, I hurt inside. I physically hurt. But every time my wife spends money, she feels so good. It's like a dopamine rush. I don't like if I get something for free, it makes me rock hard. I'm like, I don't care. Dude, when I play like a free round of golf somewhere, I'm fully erect. I am like rocking. Like if I get a free meal, I don't care what it is. It's like delicious. I just love
when we
free
golf, I could
things.
use you for the tea, huh? I could just
My wife's the opposite. My wife will like buy something and then just like take one bite and throw it in the trash. And I'm like, dude, I used to do a joke about when I go to open bars, I feel like I have to make all the money back from all the drinks I spent money on. Like if I'm at a free, if I'm at an open bar, I'm like, I'm drinking as much as I can to make it. It's free. It's free. I just love free stuff, man.
So apparently Jamie knocks them off the table though when you get free drinks, according to Joe.
I've knocked a couple off the table before, Jobo. You know, and it bothers me because then I don't like spillage.
Yeah,
I don't. This is my little thing. I don't spend money on things that I can touch, because that depreciates and that'll only be sentimental. But if I buy something that's an experience, as long as I still have a cognitive ability to remember or write it down or take a picture of it, then I'm like, that can't be taken. It didn't depreciate in value because that band got older and quit, or that vacation, that beach was destroyed. So it's like I went there, I did it, I spent it, and I'm okay with
Total
that.
agreement.
Whereas when I spend it on a thing, like a thing, I'm like, well, crap, that was the thing for me. Is I always felt like if I could spend money on stuff that is ethereal, I got it forever, right? Yeah. And it'll always be cool to me. But I also just don't buy clothes for that reason, or things that are tangible, because I'm like, that depreciates. It's immediately worth less the second I own it.
I'm still wearing, my wife, like, she gets so mad because I'm still wearing like the same flannel shirt from '94. I'm not joking. It's like threadbare, it's falling apart, and she's like, "Are you seriously wearing that?" I go, "It still covers my body. It serves its purpose." Could not care what I look. Couldn't care what I look like. Couldn't care.
It
covers my body.
Now,
It's utilitarian, where it's like, I don't care about. She's like, well, it's not in fashion. I don't care.
It will be eventually. I've got 20.
My wife's wearing mom jeans right now. Did you know mom jeans are back in fashion? Like the big high-waisted acid wash are back in fashion.
They never left.
So my wife has this crazy pair of jeans, and I go, but my wife's in great shape. She's hot and beautiful. And I'm like, you're wearing mom jeans. She goes, you're in fashion. I go, okay. What if somebody told you hefty trash bags were in fashion? Would you punch 2 holes in the side and put it all over your head? Is that how
a lot of
she
people
wouldn't
would.
punch 2 holes in it?
Shallow we are. This is what's driving
She would
us?
go to Nordstrom's and buy the ones that are pre-hole punched.
If Kim Kardashian, she should partner with Hefty Bag and just pull it over her head and wear it. And I mean, it's not even a joke. No. It would be the greatest social experiment of all time. She'd make $1 billion because people would start wearing trash bags.
They would.
All the
They would.
Kardashians should put the trash bags over their head and then close them off and breathe slowly. Because
listen,
all
I
of them-
I like to give them grief as much as possible, but they're the smartest people in the room, man. At the end of the day, you go, they are. If
I'm an
if
Armenian.
it's about
It
making
can't be
money,
true.
if it's
No,
about
no,
making
no.
money, then they are
Those
geniuses.
No, but there's not. They are unhappy pieces of
Wow.
shite. And I
don't know
really,
that, maybe.
I don't. Oh, come on. Do you think
I'm
they're
always
happy?
amazed when I see TV
Ugh.
shows like Succession or The Gilded Age because, man, if I had that, I'm always amazed when there's drama among rich people. When you're like, they because humans strive for drama. Money should buy happiness, and if money's not buying you happiness, that's on you. You're a fuck up. Get your shit together, because the only thing that should make people miserable is not being able to pay your bills. If all your bills are paid and you're fine, what are you fucking bitching about? I'm sorry to swear. I never swear on this show either.
Bob,
but I'm so angry when I see like rich people having complaints about shit. What are you doing, man? You're making
Bob, I
life way
hear
harder
there's-
than it needs to be.
I hear there is a level. They're like, they say it's like $150,000.
Yeah.
Yes, $175,000. Yep.
Anything over that
Yep.
is too much stress. Anything under that is not enough. And they're like, because what I'm saying about the Kardashians is, do you think she was in love with Kanye? No, he was a stupid borderline billionaire that she glommed onto
Yeah.
for 7 years.
I think he
They
glommed
don't-
onto her. I think it's the
or
other way.
whatever.
Joint
Or what-
glomp. Joint
Or
glomp.
whatever.
It's a joint glomp.
Whatever.
It's a joint
I
glomp.
can see. All right. You ever do this?
Well, it's like
Cover
Travis
someone's-
Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
It's
cover the
it's
face.
such a fabricated thing. She's on tour, but she's at every Kansas City Chiefs game in the
Well, that
box
is,
on
yeah.
camera all the time. Clicks, just getting more clicks, more likes, more views. It's such
Yes.
a fucking bullshit.
that may be the case, but I'm saying, like, if you ever want to watch the rich people, do what I do. I cover from their nose to their mouth, and I just watch their eyes. And most of those uber rich people like that, the reality show stars like Kardashians, this is the way their eyes look. You ready? But then when you take it away, they're like,
Yeah.
so it's like
That's
this
funny.
sad eyes of like, ah! But then they're like, ah!
I have to keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we've been doing this show. Honestly, this has really flown by. Bob, you have to. We've talked many times. You're going to come back and be a little regular contributor because
Love it. Anytime.
the finance stuff
keep
is
you on
so
retainer.
important nowadays, and it's crazy.
It'll be a monthly retainer. Yeah.
Oh,
You're on a
really?
monthly-
Should we check
Trust
the
me,
app
he's
for it?
already. They're already.
Uh,
I'm going to be cut as one of their clients because I've already been like.
He's
I
nervous.
go, wait,
He's
what?
nervous.
Why am I paying for this? What's this about? Whatever. And I send things to Bill and Bob's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Just take it. Go send it to this guy.
Highly Celeste.
Before we go, I do want to talk about kids and how, like, my kids don't appreciate a dollar.
Yeah.
They've been my kids are spoiled. They've grown up affluent. They haven't wanted for anything in their life. We're not super rich, but we're all off and we're okay. And they are spoiled to a degree where they do not understand the value of a dollar. How can people raising their kids? You talked one time about having a piggy bank that you could see through, which I thought was so genius. But what are some of the other things that you talk about teaching kids about money?
So one of the great things you can do is actually give the kids, whether it's an allowance or whatever it is, like, this is your $50, this is your $100, so that when they go to the store and they say, oh, I want this toy and I want this bike and I want this computer, well, you get to have a choice. How do you want to spend this money? And what's interesting, and they've done studies, but when you let the kids have it as sort of their money, they're a lot less willing to just go, yeah, I want that, and lose it. They freaking no, I'm going to buy the Xbox. And they get very, very careful when it starts coming out of their pocket. I have a friend.
We tried that. And so we gave them money and they spent it within, I'm going to say 10 to 15 seconds. Gone. Every penny.
Well, then
of
you
it,
gave them too
because
much.
they knew
and then
more
you have
was
to set
coming.
boundaries. You gave them too much, and you got to set boundaries.
I didn't give them too
hold-
much.
you gotta
Somebody
toe the
else did,
line.
but they had unlimited. They just know that somebody else would buy something. So
if you got to toe the line. If you got to walk the talk.
Yeah.
If you tell them you're gonna, spank them with a tree, you got to pull the tree up and spank them. You can't freaking say, Oh, next time. You can't give him a pass.
Right. Well,
Trust
my dad thought himself a genius when I was a kid. He's like, I'm going to give you $2 a week. This is 1987, 88. And they're like, I'm going to give you $2 a week. And at the end of the month, we'll go shopping and you can buy, a lot of things with $2, the $2 summed up, or every week when we go out to the mall, you can buy something for $1. And I'll be damned. I bought the dollar thing every single week. I just bought the Matchbox cars for 99 cents. I have hundreds of Matchbox cars. I don't have anything to put them in. And he kept saying, look, if you want the thing to store it up and to put it in or whatever, you can just save up to the end of the month. And I'd always go, no, I'll just wait for you to get it for me for Christmas.
Jobo has a great quote. This one, who would read this quote? Jason.
Well, the word baseball's in it. There's only one.
Oh, yeah. Hey, but he can't do anything. Tom Hanks, he can only do baseball.
Discipline's like baseball. Always follow through. It'll go further.
Baseball.
Haile Selassie wanted Alan Rickman, so discipline is like baseball. Always follow through. It will go further. Holy crap. I love talking.
I feel like with discipline, though, I feel like Keanu Reeves feels like he would talk about the discipline.
Discipline is like baseball.
Yeah.
Always follow through. It will go further. I know.
That's it. That's the one.
Keanu.
I feel like that's very zen from Keanu. That's funny. Yeah, it's so hard nowadays with the kids, man. And they're trying to buy. Like, I just will not buy anything in an app. They're like, but so and so's mom buys them. Like, you can buy a sword, a virtual sword for your character in Roblox. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying a penny for anything online, for nothing. Not one thing will I ever buy for some game so you can be a character in a game. I never once will I do that.
I've learned so much. I've become so much more financially literate, and I want to have more of these conversations with you going forward, Bob, besides just the retainer.
So. I'm depressed.
He also talked about having not the retainer. It's funny.
Bob was decimated my entire life.
The one thing
it was not personal. I swear.
I know you're an incredibly nice guy, Bob.
The hardest part about having kids is figuring out the finances with them. It really is. Like, Justin, I know you're like working on your own finances as we all are, but when you have kids, it's like this overwhelming daily bloodletting. There's
a lot of great apps out there, though, Jamie. There's a lot of great apps that can let your kids spend, learn how to invest, and all this stuff. It doesn't really cost you anything. A lot of them are free.
What if you just open up an app and it just says
baseball?
I would love
baseball.
That. I would absolutely love that, dude. It's so funny you talk about apps. I mean, maybe we should list some of the apps because I don't know any of them, and I'm terrified of the iPads. I'm sitting already talking to like people trying to figure out how to block stuff on I'm an old guy trying to figure out how to keep my kids safe on the internet, and it's really hard to then go, I don't know any of the apps. What's a good app that can teach my kids about
Greenlight is a good app. Greenlight.
Never heard of it. This is the first
I know, but that's the thing is most people haven't. But there's probably there's 10 or 15 apps out there. Greenlight is written by a guy who made a whole lot of money in Silicon Valley and decided, you know what? I want to help other people. I've already got a good life. He could monetize it, make it super big. He's like, nope, I just helped this amount of people.
God bless him.
Just want to give back. And so there's a lot of people out there that have done stuff like that just to help other people because a lot of people don't know how to talk with their kids about money. So
no one knows how to talk. Only very, very uber rich people. But those kids are so pretentious and drug addled that they don't.
Not all of them. Funds. Some are. Not all.
Most. I would say
most. A lot.
Yeah. No. Buffett's kids turned out pretty good, I guess. Right. Green light is good for kids. Red light is good for adults.
That's funny.
Oh, maybe that's why I can't see red. I'm colorblind, so that's why I'm so bad with money. I just see green everywhere. I'm like,
The red light
oh,
district.
yeah.
In Amsterdam.
So, Bob, after the show, you'll send me that elderly gentleman's contact info.
Right.
Yeah.
Independent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Jason, you look like you could be a grandson.
Well, it's kind of scary that it took 70 minutes before I finally got it. I was like, green light. Oh yeah, that sounds like something I could really. Maybe I should have talked about that earlier. I'm sorry I rambled on so long before we got to some healthy information about how to help kids. It's funny because last time we had you on, we talked a lot about having the kids and the see-through piggy bank and stuff. And this time it was just a rant because I don't know. Am I the only one who's lately just maybe it's inflation and gas prices, everything? Everyone's like. And nobody's income's going up, but cost out.
It's crazy.
Well, somebody's income is going up. The very rich people, their income is still. I don't know if you noticed. The top 1% has been kicking ass and taking names the last 3 years.
Well, the other thing is that companies got smarter about making things break down, planned obsolescence. Because my parents, their whole life, had one phone on the wall. They had one refrigerator. We only had one washer dryer. We never bought a new washer dryer. And now everything breaks because the door on your refrigerator has electronic consoles in it that make sure you can get connected to Wi-Fi and you can put a grocery list and you can play the radio. You're like, hey, I'm getting milk, but let me see what Tom Petty's saying today or whatever.
That's good for the economy. That makes jobs. Jamie, come on now. If you got a device that just lasts forever, then there will be no labor. There will be no new things bought. I mean, that's capitalism at its soul. You're starting to sound like a socialist.
Capitalism at its absolute best. Unfortunately, dude, this thing is $2,000. Phones are $2,000. They break it down.
Because it's a computer.
It's only $169 every month for 18 months.
It's a write-off.
It's a write-off. And you didn't know the new camera. Your eye can only see 4K, but this thing, the new one is in 17K or whatever. You're like,
didn't you have a bit when you did about the new yellow one? The yellow one.
Oh, they would try to get you to do the iPhone. I go, there's a new iPhone out. It's in yellow, so the iPhone's in yellow, even though. Everyone puts a cover on their phone, so you're not going to see the yellow of the phone. But you're trying to pitch me to buy a $2,000 phone, even though this one works fine because the back of it's yellow. Is that the pitch? It's exactly the pitch, Jamie. Yes, that's exactly what we're trying to sell.
Hold on. You lease the phone, though, don't you, Jamie? I've never paid for the full $2,000 of the phone. I'm just every month I'm paying like $14, and I paid $200 when I first got it. I don't think I've ever paid the full $2,000 for a phone.
I buy the phone.
You better check the math. You better check the math on that. There's no way you're paying $160 and then $14 a month. What, for in perpetuity?
Mm-hmm. That's T-Mobile. They make you get a new one every 2 years, and then but each month I'm not paying $200 for the phone. I'm paying about $26 a month for the phone. Now I'm stupid. So this is where Bob's like,
I bought the phone, but it was like, I don't know, $160 a month. It's an interest-free loan. They just break it out. They tell it like you're doing a favor. Listen, man, we're not going to charge you any interest on the $2,000 phone. But what we're going to let you do is pay it out over time, just so that we help you out. Because who else could? What normal person who's working a 9-to-5 job could drop $2,000 on a phone? That drives me crazy. That's not even the plan. That's not even the phone. That's just the hardware of the phone.
You could go back to flip phone. Go back to flip phone.
Yeah, you could.
Dude, I'm very close. I'm very close to going back to flip phone.
No, you're not. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No,
You're
unfortunately, I'm not because I shoot everything on this and edit and, pay for my teleprompter and my green screen and my CapCut and my ring, ding, ding, dong, do. Yeah. Even Twitter. Would you say Twitter's going to try to charge a monthly fee or something?
Yeah, $5.99 a month. Elon,
it'll be the death of it, won't it?
Of course, it's already dead. It's not even called Twitter. Have you checked X? Have you checked X recently? Everything on their trending is now literally Bitcoin news. I don't even follow Bitcoin. Every time I open up X, it's just like, here's what's trending in Bitcoin and NFTs. I'm like, dude.
But wait a minute,
SEC.
Steph Curry told me crypto was going pretty well, and I should definitely get involved. I'm so confused. He's the best.
Dogecoin to the moon, baby. Come on now.
Dogecoin. I mean, listen, Tom Brady won a bunch of Super Bowls. If he tells me crypto's good, then he must be. He must know.
Tom Brady, that Freeman guy. Well, this guy's Bill Belichick. They told me. I put all my money in those chimps. The chimps with the pictures. I got 40 of those chimps. I'm worth $65 million that the government knows about.
That might be the best spot on Mark Wahlberg I've ever heard. All right, listen, I don't know if this is helpful for anybody who listened to 1 second of this show, but I got to tell you, I feel a lot better than I did when this show started. Pretty funny.
Me too. Yep. And now we pay
Bob Wheeler. Where can people find Money You Should Ask? It's everywhere, I believe.
It's on the podcast, Apple, Spotify, all those great places, and Instagram, everywhere, including,
and obviously, we didn't get into the details of finance that we probably should have. We went on a few tangential comedic runs, but
but they can get my online course and the new book and the $5.90. And the Ginsu knives. Yeah.
I could use a Ginsu knife to cut that tomato real clean, like.
Ginsu knives are a great investment. my drumsticks.
So they're definitely. Go find
Money You Should Ask, and
I'm like using impressions of Justin doing impressions.
Yoda put down.
I turned into Yoda. Was that Yoda?
Yeah. With John C. Reilly was Yoda though in real life, I believe, wasn't he? I love that the two nerds are like, did you just do Yoda?
Wrong you are.
Wrong you are.
Terrible. Bob, I'm sorry you had to be part of this. I apologize.
He loves it. We love you, Bob.
I appreciate it. It was all good.
You better come back because now that the show's over, I have a lot of questions about money that I wish I'd have thought of earlier, but
I'll write them down. We'll get them next.
My kids are on an iPad right now, probably flying through YouTube, watching a cat get out of a maze of some sort. So, I guess that was the rest. Does anybody else have anything they want to say to wrap up this episode? Good. Yeah, that seemed like it was pretty good.
Yeah.
For Jason Gowan, Justin Ruppel, I'm Jamie Kaler. We missed Kate Mulligan tonight. She had a PTA meeting, so we should probably sit at the top too. Everyone's like, "Where's Kate?" She was parenting.
Did she drop the C word at a PTA meeting?
She dropped the C word at a PTA meeting, and she's been banned in perpetuity from being around children. And Bob Wheeler, the podcast is Money You Should Ask, one of my oldest buddies. So check him out, please. And if you have finance questions, please go hit him on his podcast because that's what they do. And it's a wonderful podcast. All right, Robert, I love you. Thank you for being part of the show tonight.
Thank you all.
Who's Robert?
That is it. Robert Wheeler. We will see you guys next time here in the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.
Cheers.